right here. He's a past division commander. He's an author. Check out some of his books. He's got a lot of good stuff. The best thing he does is a poem talking about the Confederate flag and what it meant to the soldier boys. Without further ado, y'all give a good welcome to Dr. Michael Bradley.
In 1861, when they conceived their rights to be threatened, and those who had altered the form of government of their forefathers were placed in charge of that very government, when confronted with more change than they could accept, the mighty men of valor began to go. This band of brothers, natives of the southern soil, pledged themselves to a cause, the cause of defending family and fireside and faith. Between the desolation of war, their homes, interposed their bodies, and they chose me as their symbol, I and their flag. Wives, mothers, sweethearts, took scissors and thimbles, needles, and thread, and silk, calico, cotton, even from the fabric of their wedding dresses, they cut my pieces and stitched my seams. I and their flag. At train stations and courthouse squares, picnic droves all across the South, and then mustered, the wedding placed me in their hands. Fight hard, they said. Win if you can. If at all possible, come back home to me. But above all else, sirs, maintain your honor. And here is your symbol, I and their flag. They flocked to the training camps and the drill fields. They experienced that wrenching sadness of leaving home. They endured bad food, poor quarters, illness, boredom, homesickness. Through it all, looked to me for their inspiration, I and their flag. I was at Sumter when they began with jubilation. I was at Dick Bethel when the infantry fired its first volley. I smelled the gun smoke along the banks of Bull Run in Virginia and at Belmont on the shores of the Mississippi. I was in that debacle at Fort Donelson. I led old Stonewall back down the Shenandoah. For 7 days I flapped in the turgid breezes of the James River bottoms as McClellan ran from before Richmond. Sidney Johnston died for me at Shiloh, as with hundreds and thousands of others whose graves to this day are marked sine nomine, without a name, unknown. I am their flag. With ammunition gone, they defended me along that railroad cut at 2nd Manassas by throwing rocks. I saw the fields turn red at Sharpsburg. Brave men carried me across Doctor's Creek at Perryville. I saw blue bodies carpet Mary's Heights at Fredericksburg. Saw gray bodies fall like leaves in the round forest at Murfreesboro. I and their flag. I was a shroud for old Stonewall after Chancellorsville. Men ate rats and mule meat to keep me flying over Vicksburg. I marched across the wheat field with Kemper, Garnett, and Armistead at Gettysburg. I know the thrill of victory. I know the misery of defeat. I know the costing human blood of both of those things for I and their flag. When Longstreet broke the line at Chickamauga, I was in the lead. I was the last one off of Lookout Mountain. Brave men died to rescue me at Missionary Ridge. I was singed with the wildfire that burned to death the wounded in the wilderness. Shot to tatters in the Bloody Angle at Spotsylvania. Saw it all from Dalton to Peachtree Creek, and no worse places did I ever see than at Kennesaw Mountain or at New Hope Church. They planted me above the trenches at Petersburg, Virginia, and I stayed there for nearly 9 months for I and their flag. I was rolled in blood at Franklin. I was stiff with ice at Nashville. Many good men bade me farewell at Sailor's Creek. But when the end came at Appomattox, when the last Johnny Reb left Durham Station, hundreds of them had fragments of my fabric about their bodies, for I and their flag. During those long years they called Reconstruction, during that misery and despair that so slowly went past, the veterans, their wives, their sons, their daughters, they loved me. They kept alive the stories of heroism and the legends of valor, and they passed them on to their children, and they to theirs, and they to theirs, and today those stories are entrusted to you, for I am their flag. I've been laved with the blood of heroes. I've shrouded the bodies of martyrs. I've enshrined to the hearts of millions, both living and dead. The sons and daughters salute me with affection and reverence, pledging undying devotion in their hearts. For I'm part of your history. I'm part of your heritage. I do not belong in the hands of those who hate, but I am the living reminder of the valor of our flesh and blood. So look away, Dixieland. I am their flag.